Hello, hello, hello. It's your girl, Miss Trina, with Chat with Trina. And it's Talk About It Tuesday. And today we are recognizing Alopecia Awareness Month. I have two special guests, Shareece Gregory and Il Trill Neal, who are going to talk about their experiences and their journey with alopecia. Hey, everybody. It's your girl, Miss Trina, with Chat with Trina. And I want to thank y'all, of course, for making the choice to click in today. And it is Talk About It Tuesday. And it is also Alopecia Awareness Month. So we have a super special show tonight. So I'm excited. Is there a echo? Make sure I have everybody. Okay, there we go. Today's show, I want to make sure everyone knows that today's show is hosted by Ms. Chat with Trina, but also by the National Women of Achievement Incorporated Midtown chapter. Ms. Latricia Williams is the president of our chapter, but they're joining us today as a part of one of our goals that we have to achieve for our chapter. Today is a very special show. It's about a topic that has definitely been in the news and the media. It's just been talked about a lot lately. So both of our guests, and one of them, they were referred to me by my friend Angela Morgan, who is a blues singer, and she also has alopecia. And something that I want to mention first is that, and I know we're going to get to this, that I never ask people what's going on with them. I assume, which I've learned with Angela, that I should not have. I actually thought Angela had cancer until she came on my show as a guest, and I found that she had alopecia. So it was something. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so embarrassed. But my guests are Miss Shareece Gregory, hey, and then Mr. Il Trill Neal.
Hey, what's up, yeah?
Okay, so how are y'all both doing today?
Wonderful.
Good.
Fantastic.
And thank y'all again so much for joining me today. It is such an honor that you guys took the time out of your busy schedule to join me today. The first thing I'm gonna do is ask you both separately to talk about your journey. And then after that, we'll talk about, questions and just start the information session, if you will. Okay. So Mr. Il Trill Neal, you mind if I start with ladies first?
Yeah, absolutely.
All righty, Miss Gorgeous, Miss Shareece. Talk to us. Where are you from?
I'm actually from Chicago, and
Okay.
I've lived in Chicago, St. Louis, now Houston is my home. I stayed in California for a couple of years, but Houston is now the home spot.
Yay. Welcome.
Yeah.
So talk to us about your journey with with alopecia. Where did it start and how did you know? And
I'm a licensed cosmetologist, and I have been so for the last 35 years. So I've always dealt with women with hair issues. Mine started out with traction alopecia because, of course, as hairstylists, we put hairstyles in, take hairstyles out. We don't necessarily take the weave out like we supposed to and use the stuff to soak it out and, all of the correct things to use
right.
to add it out. So mine started as traction alopecia and then came into areata alopecia, which basically means in areas. So I pretty much have it predominantly around the temples. And it'll come out and it'll grow back. It'll come out, it'll grow back. But about 3, maybe 4 years ago, I said, I'm just going to cut it off. And I talked about it. And we were I have a fashion show every year, Labor Day weekend, for alopecia. And I called my barber, and she had already purchased a ticket, but I had told her ahead of time, bring your clippers just in case I might want to get a cut. And I called her, I said, here? She said, yeah. I said, come on back. I'm going to shave it off. She was like, what? I said, yeah, I'm going to shave it all off. So I shaved it off, and I didn't have a mirror back there, and it was right before the finale. So everybody was walking out. And then in the finale, I walked out and I had a big hat on that I had made with a head wrap, and I just ripped it off. And it wasn't until one of my girlfriends said, let's take a selfie, is when I actually seen my head bald.
So you hadn't seen it? You didn't look at yourself in the mirror?
No, I did not.
Oh, wow.
I just wanted to be as surprised as everybody else was. So my mother and them was in the audience. They was like, that looked like Shareece. She cut all her hair off. Wait a minute, So
Yeah.
it was an aha moment for everybody, and I felt free, like I didn't have to cover up anymore.
Yeah.
And I tell my clients, it's your decision. When you've had wearing the wigs and gluing in the hair and just trying different things that's working, but it's expensive.
Very.
So I said, and you're right, people automatically assume you have cancer. So I just came from a women's retreat in Florida, and literally we seen some homogenized people in the lobby, and they was in the elevators, and they were like, so are you guys here with the cancer convention? Because they seen it was probably about 30 of us bald-headed, beautiful Black women there. And we were like, no, it's alopecia. And he was like, yeah, I had cancer too. We were like, no, it's alopecia.
Alopecia. Wow.
And so he was like, oh, well, what is that? We was like, it's hair loss. So we kind of explained to him. He was like, that's super cool. You guys look amazing.
That is so, and it's so funny because, we as women, our hair is our crown, is our, and so I've seen another friend of mine, and to be honest with you, I still don't know if she has cancer. I don't know what she has. She may be alopecia, so I don't ask. Because I don't like to intrude, you know what I mean? Because you just never know. But she told me one day, she said, hey, I think I'm fixing to just come out. I didn't really know what she was talking about, but she came out and she wasn't wearing hair. And she had her beautiful bald head, and she's gorgeous. Now, see, I don't know, y'all. My head ain't I don't know.
You can do it. I said, throw on some earrings and your eyelashes. You'll be good to go.
Be good to go. Well, Mr. Trill Neal, let's talk to you for a minute.
Yes, ma'am. What's up?
I gotta ask you first where you get the name from. Come on, tell me.
Okay, so it actually means Illustrated Trilogy of Neal. Those are just kind of like acronyms.
Okay, that's cool. So talk to us, where are you from?
Well, I'm actually from Pensacola, Florida. Born and raised.
Okay. Are you here in Houston though now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what brought you to this wonderful state?
Opportunity. Florida is kind of more where you go to retire. Like, and Texas is like, it has every industry here.
Yes, definitely. We are a booming
every industry is here.
State. So talk to us, when did and again, so I have to say this, I did look it up, that it says 95% of hair loss in men is caused by alopecia. I didn't know that. And when Angela was like, hey, you should have a woman and a man, I was like, what? A man? Never thought about a man having alopecia. Never.
So I never really had hair on my body growing up, but I started seeing the signs as early as like 13. Once I reached high school, out of junior high, that's when I really started seeing it. At the time, I had like dreadlocks. So I really started seeing it. One morning, I woke up and my eyebrows were itching, and I was scratching, and the hair would be in the palm of my hand.
Wow.
And I was like, oh man, like this is something serious. So, I was riding the wave. I actually going through the process of school. So a lot of my peers were starting to notice as well. And, at that time, cutting lines in your eyebrows was cool. So people didn't really look at me in that way because they thought I was doing a style. I'm like, no, like, I don't know what's going on. I'm losing my hair. Like, so
you were in high school, right?
Yes. It was right before college, before I really had to let it go. I was looking like Stevie Wonder by the head. It was just scalp and just hair. So I couldn't really, not to joke about anything, but just so you can visualize. So you can visualize what I had to go through in my teenage, young adult years. And yes, I was judged by my peers. I went to work at a call center one day, and this chick was like, well, hey, you need to have an MRI. I'm like, that's very rude, man. I'm
so
healthier than you are. I'm healthier than you are. And think about it. This chick, she was at the time, she was like 24. She had a heart attack that next week. So you can't stop, projecting what you think you know. Ask. That's what conversation is for. Ask us. Because it can come off very rude.
Mhm,
Like
mhm. That's almost
seriously.
like asking people, "Are you pregnant?"
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
When they see you got a pole, just yeah, absolutely. So,
Mhm, mhm.
that can kind of dampen the mood anywhere. So
Definitely. So, so did you have? I know there's two types. Miss Shareece brought up one. She brought up two types. Do you have the what was it? The one that's it's only in areas. Which
no,
alopecia is that?
I actually have alopecia universalis. That's like total body baldness. And he was
Wow.
saying the doctor was joking and he was like, "Well, hey, you remember that movie Highlander and Sean Connery? Your hair come back that color." And he was laughing about it. I'm like, this is not a joke. It matters. But
Funny.
like, but he said if it didn't come back by 21, I can hang it up. And it never. I probably had in the midst of all these years. I've been like this 20 something, 26 years now. Out of those years, I got a Homer Simpson strand one day and picked it out.
And I did read that too, that sometimes the hair comes back, guys. I can ask both
Yeah.
of you that. Do y'all know about that, that the hair can come back?
Mine will grow back. Sometimes it grows back really, really shallow.
Mhm.
Sometimes it grows back thick. Sometimes it grows back all white. It
Mm.
just depends.
Okay.
And there are some people like I don't have I thought about it. I don't have hair on my legs and my arms
Oh.
either.
So alopecia, I didn't even think about that. So alopecia, kind of what Il Trill said, is the alopecia can be full body.
Yes. I
Okay.
actually worked at a gentleman at
Eyelashes, nose hair.
yeah.
Well, I wish they would
Any
take my
area.
hairs, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
A lot of people say that. I run into a lot of people that bodybuild that swim. It was like, man, I'll kill to have your genes. I was like, dude, no, you don't. That was
No, you
kind of like a rebirth. You have to adjust your skin. You have to watch what soap you buy, what air you breathe in. It just and dirt feels like glass in your eyes. So it's like
really.
we
Oh,
have to
because it's no
understand what we.
connection to that.
Yeah, we have no protection. So hair is a natural filter for your body, and we don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've been doing a lot of studying, and it can be due to magnetism. We could have an extra magnetic field around us too, scientifically. When I've been doing some research, because
Okay.
there's a movie. I don't know if y'all remember the movie or not, but it was man, what it was called. Can't remember the name. He was the bald headed Powder. Remember the movie Powder?
Mm-mm.
Go see it. Powder is about he was very highly sensitive, and
Mm-hmm.
they was trying to bend it like he was albino, but he had alopecia universalis. He was able to control things with his mind, and he was able to control things with metal, but he was hypersensitive. The movie's called Powder,
I'll
and
have to
it
look
and it
that
kind
up.
of gives you a gist. Yes, it's called Powder. Remember that movie, Shareece?
Good movie. Yeah.
Okay, I have to check that out. Guys, and again, my questions may seem very because I am ignorant when it comes to this.
Shoot.
So sunlight, is there anything to that sensitivity or anything like that?
Absolutely, because you don't have the eyelashes to protect your eyes. So the sun rays and stuff like that, like your nose hairs, he can't just sniff perfumes and stuff like that. It'll burn the inside his nose because he has nothing to protect it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's serious.
Mhm.
Um, is it contagious?
No.
Hereditary?
No,
Now it could be hereditary.
no. It could be. I would say that too. I would say that as well.
You mentioned that people did make fun or say things about you.
Oh yeah.
Sure. And both of y'all did. Was there any psychological and maybe not you per se, Miss Shareece, because you seem like you were, you handled it differently because you were used to this. I think, no, you didn't handle it. Okay. Well, tell me about that then. How did it affect you psychologically?
For years, I was like the next girl. You're always taught that your hair is your glory. And because I was in the hair business, I sell beauty. You can't sell a bald head patch. You know what I'm saying? So it was detrimental to me for a while. And I constantly covered it up. It wasn't until I can remember having spots gone as early as the early 2000s, maybe 1999, but the early 2000s, I started having hair loss around the edges. I had hair on my arms and legs. I'm gonna say on my legs one time. And I used to love my stepsister was really hairy. And we'd be in the pool and I'd see her hair floating up off the water. And I was like, that's so sexy and some stocking. She was like, no, it's not. It's super disgusting. It's very gross. I always thought it was sexy. So she said, well, just shave your legs and it'll come back. But I shaved that one time. That was it. It never came back. And then I've never had hair on my arms at all. Like under my arms, I probably can shave 3 or 4 times a year.
So do you have to go to the doctor for them to diagnose you with alopecia, or
it's best to go to the doctor for it, yeah. And normally it will start off as small as the size of a pen or something, and then it'll gradually get bigger. And usually it's like in a circle effect. The kind that Jada has, almost alopecia, whereas you're ripping it off and it's a row. Wow. So that's traction alopecia. Then they have what they call totalis alopecia, which means just from the neck up. Yeah, total hair on the face area. And I feel sorry for guys because they really have it hard, especially in high school and junior high and elementary. You walk around with no eyebrows, it's a problem. It's not like they can camouflage it and draw some eyebrows on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they really get it bad, just like us. And it's a mental thing. So
psychologically it can affect you.
Absolutely. Relationships, friendships, the whole nine. Because how many times have you had on a wig and then if you get intimate with somebody, you don't want the wig to fall off. You definitely don't want that wig to fall off. So it's like, right. And then you're thinking, when is the right time to tell them I don't have no hair? And I would say ever since Black Panther, more women have felt more empowered to just shave it off and go bald since Black Panther. And I'm glad because
I can see that.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of them. And I love my hair bald. I just hate the labor that it takes to keep it that way. So I have to shave it like every other day. In order for, like smooth feel, I don't want it to feel stubbly. It's just crazy that if the hair starts to grow and then you get hair stubble and then it makes your scalp tender. So then it's hard to shave it. So it's a process. So it's just as bad as having hair as in not having hair.
You still have maintenance.
Absolutely.
Because I think about just the chin hair is how it is. I can imagine.
Come on.
Because I'm very hairy as well. Yeah. So, Mr. Neil. Psychologically, how has it affected you?
At first, I just didn't understand it really. It didn't affect me psychologically because at that time I was into sports, Junior Olympics, things like that, and actually, into my music career.
Right.
So yeah, psychologically it didn't affect me, but I just didn't understand it. It just was very weird. I can go from having hair below my ears, just
Yeah.
not to having any. You know, it's like a huge transformation, and my body had to develop, you know, certain things to where I can't be affected. Like Miss Shareece said, I can't use certain deodorants, colognes, perfumes. They'll
Mhm.
burn my nose up.
Yeah.
It's like in the hottest of heat, I'll get nosebleeds. In the coldest of winters, I'll get nosebleeds. So I have to sometimes I have to keep my face covered in
Your
between
friends
these.
know that you have alopecia? Do you tell them now so they would understand and support you?
Yes, absolutely. You know, some of them still don't understand it though. You know, they don't understand it because it's common, but it's not common.
Yeah. And then no one talks about male alopecia.
Nope.
Right.
Miss Shareece,
And
you have
when they do, they only talk about it in the women, not hardly ever the men.
yeah. And if Angela wouldn't have mentioned it, I still would have been thinking it was just affecting women. But something I want to mention. So my sister-in-law years ago has had alopecia. So when she would go to the beauty shop, I remember her telling me that the beautician, the stylist would say, take her to the side and say she wanted to do her hair at a different time because her clients would see her hair in different places and it would scare them. And they didn't want to use the same tools and that kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it was embarrassing, but I kind of understand what she meant. She did take her to the side. And then so she went to the doctor. And the cool thing about that is I'm sure they do that for real now, that they take wigs and you can get them as prosthetics and get them with your insurance.
Right.
Have you had, so do you make wigs, Miss Shareece?
I do make wigs, but not on a medical level.
Okay.
So they just got approved, and Neil is one of the liaisons for the state representatives now for representing alopecia for the National Alopecia Awareness Foundation. Him and Angela both, and they're passing different laws where
You guys are ambassadors of what again?
Neil.
We're legislative liaisons for the National Alopecia Areata Foundation.
Okay. And what does that entail? What are you guys doing with that?
So we're advocating for what you was just talking about. You would think that bill would have been passed already, but we have a bill number now, and it goes into it starts out with the babies during birth if they have like cranial damage, the medical helmets for the babies, and the prosthetic wigs for the individuals who do have, you know, cancer and things like that, including alopecia, to where they can get it on Medicaid and Medicare. So,
right. Oh, wow.
you know,
That's wonderful.
yeah, we've been pushing hard for that, you know, talking to different senators, city council representatives. Here soon, we're scheduled to go to the Capitol to talk to Congress about it.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's great. Yeah, it's a great thing.
That is. I'm going to see if anyone has any questions on our panel, those who are listening in. Does anyone have any questions over there? You can raise your hand, or anybody have any inquiries? Do you guys have anything to add that maybe that I'm missing?
There's several different types of alopecia, but I would say if you're having issue with hair loss, definitely go to your doctor, see a physician, and if they don't give you the answers you need, go to a dermatologist or a trichologist.
Okay. What about I read something really about something some kind of cream that you can put on your hair. Would there be a reason to put anything on your hair from the doctor? I don't even remember what I read.
Me personally, I've tried the Bosley and the other one. It didn't work for me.
Yeah,
It didn't work.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that made it worse or not, but it didn't work.
Right. I'm trying to get you some hair. They make it like it's so easy. Miss Shareece, did you try anything besides the wigs and the weave? Did you try anything other than that?
Nah.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
And how long how long did you have the hair loss? I don't know if I remember you saying that or not. How long?
I started back in the early 2000s with hair loss. And
When?
then it's just been in the last 5 years that I've shaved it.
Okay.
And I shave it from time to time, but the month of September, because it's alopecia awareness, I always keep it shaved for
Gotcha.
that. And then
I have a
sometimes for
question.
the new year, I just want to release and I shave it.
I lost it. How do I find it back? So I do have a question from someone. Miss Laura says, are there support groups in Houston for others with alopecia that you guys know of? Neil or Shareece?
I mean, it's not very many. Even with the National Alopecia Areata Foundation, it's kind of limited with hands on deck. But
But
we're pushing through
support groups
to
have
kind of
actually.
to break those barriers to where we have our own infrastructure when it comes to that.
Okay. Okay. Great question. And because this is, I mean, I guess it's not new, but it's new coming out, getting more awareness to it. Latricia says, how do you tell the difference between hair loss caused by stress, chemical treatments versus alopecia?
Hair loss caused by stress, it'll break off and then grow back. And usually it'll break off like mid-strand. It won't be from the scalp area just straight out. And usually stress is usually your temples, your nerve endings, places stress in the middle. So, and it'll grow back. You might see little pieces of hair versus if alopecia is going to be the whole strand and it'll be in patches.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions? Thanks, Donnie.
Basically that you have cancer, you're sick of some sort.
Okay.
That's it.
That people think that you have cancer. Yeah, I could feel that with that too. He asked, what are some of the challenges that you faced? And we've already talked about that. Neil's school, people saying things, and the challenges of not having the hair protection rather. When I said I don't want the nose hairs, okay, now you let me know I do need my nose hairs. Okay.
Yeah, you need that to filter out the things that's in the air. Recently, it's funny that you say that because they claim that they have whenever they said, well, hey, we got the monkeypox or this, that, and the third, I can feel like different layers in the air. You wouldn't feel those things because you have hair, but I can feel pollution on my skin.
Wow.
The normal human won't feel that because you have all that hair on your skin and your scalp and in your nose and mostly and in your ears too. You have hair everywhere.
Right.
That we don't have. It's
Well,
very weird.
what do you do, Neil, to prevent or to help you to be able to cope without having hair?
I use shea butter. I can't use anything else really.
Okay.
Yeah, I just use shea butter, so it's just like water repellent almost.
Gotcha. Okay. But I mean, like when you're out in the sun,
wear
different
sunglasses
and stuff.
Yeah, sunglasses. I have to keep my eyes covered, of course. Um, don't want to get anything in my eyes because again, it's gonna feel like glass.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. Mr. Neil, do you have anything that you want to add or anything that we didn't think of that we haven't already thought of?
Well, I've gotten heavily into acting and producing movies. We do have a premiere next month, October 19th.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
Absolutely.
So have you,
Movie
are you
title
going to write
Platinum.
a book about your experiences since he mentioned movie?
Yes, I do have a book title. Uh, I'm kind of like 20 pages in, but again, I have to be in the right mental space
Yeah.
to write it because it can be, kind of heartfelt. Because again, that was like right before I left home. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
like it's right before I left home. It was like, whew, it was just a whole different.
I can
It was
imagine.
like a rebirth.
Yeah, yeah. To learn how to live with, just like anything else,
Man,
have to learn how to live differently.
yes.
Yeah. Miss Shareece, I know you do talk to us about your fashion show.
I have a couple of different fashion shows every year, but my main one, my baby, is always Labor Day weekend, and it's called Curves on Purpose, Unmasking Alopecia.
Unmatched
And that basically means that people, mhm. So you can come from out from under the mask. I had a lady year before last who had been married for about 20 years, and her husband had never seen her scalp, had never seen her without a wig. And she came out at the show and took it off, and she's been rocking a bald head ever since.
Oh, wow. How did
And
her
then I
husband
think,
react?
oh, he was astonished. He was nice. He was so proud of her. Yeah.
Yes.
And then I
Wow.
think one of the biggest conceptions is there are a lot of sicknesses that cause alopecia, like people with vitiligo have alopecia,
Oh, I
people
didn't know
with
that.
lupus have alopecia, because anything that causes hair loss is some form of alopecia. So it's
I definitely
just
think
not
exception to where
cancer.
you just think alopecia is by itself, but it actually is a part of the baldness with those other.
Absolutely. So just this past September, I had a young lady, Erica, who also has vitiligo, and her hair was so thin and shallow. She said, Miss Rhea, I'm thinking about cutting it. I said, girl, if you cut it, do it. Be free. And she loves it. She
Wow.
loves it. Now I call them her beauty patches. I said, now you can see all your beauty marks and your beauty patches that the
Oh,
Lord has blessed you with. And she was like, oh my God, if I would have known I was going to feel this good about it,
did
I'd
it a
have done
long.
it.
I've heard that. I would have did it a long time ago. What I think about too, on a sad note, is that how we said our hair is our crown, our glory. That some men who don't know, and pardon me, Mr. Neil, but that don't know will make rude remarks. I've heard in church
Oh, yeah.
pastors say things like, was it Erica Badu? Was it Erica Badu? I think it's Erica Badu when she first cut, things that wouldn't be so nice about them cutting. Women shouldn't cut their hair because they're not men, and say a lot of things like that, not knowing that this could be something like that. You can't hear me?
Yes, we can. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of sucks that people don't understand like that, and that would say things like that too, that could offend.
Yeah. And I think that's just the ignorance. I tell the story about a man who seen me in the post office and was like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Yeah, you. What's wrong with you? You sick?" Like, no. He thought you have hair. I'm like, I suffer with alopecia and I shaved it. I wouldn't have a girlfriend without hair. Okay, I'm sorry for you.
And I wouldn't have you either.
And so turned back
Wow.
around, and so he was talking, and then I said, it's funny. I've dated a lot of men, and they've asked for a lot of things, but hair has never been one of them. And then by the time I got up to the counter, got my stuff, he had gotten his done, and he was waiting at the door. He was like, "Now, what's your name and number? Because you're kind of jazzy." I said, "Oh no, don't worry about it. You don't date women with hair." So it was a guy and a girl behind me, and they fell out laughing. They was like, "Good for you, sister. Good for you." I'm like, "Goodbye."
Wow.
So yeah, I walk confident, I walk proud, because I know that I am a queen, and my hair does not determine me. but I give workshops where I tell people it's amazing how we attach ourselves to things that we think are huge when the next person really could care less. You know, whether it be your job, you lose your job, then you're like, oh my God, I'm so not worthy of another job. Will anybody else hire me?
Yes.
You know, whatever it is, we attach ourselves to things that we make a mountain out of, and it's really no big deal.
It's really no big deal, especially if if you have the faith and giving it up to God, it's no big deal.
And the way I see things, when things happen, I say, okay, Lord, where's the testimony in this?
Yeah.
Because I'm learning something to be able to help somebody else.
Yes.
So I always say that I'm going to be somebody's sap. And they say, well, what is that? Somebody's answered prayer.
Oh.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that 1,000%.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if my story can help the next 4 people, 1 person, 40 people, I've done my work for him.
Exactly. And that's the other thing, you know, and I'm not saying everything, put it on social media, but I do say there are some things that people talk about on social media. I mean, even showing, I don't know, I talk about depression, my anxiety, and I suffer with anxiety and depression. And so I post that. So people will say things like, well, don't tell your business and everything, but it's going to help someone else. Absolutely. It's going to help someone else to know why they act the way they do, why they react to things, you know, it's going to help someone else. So speaking out when you're ready, but speaking out about these things will definitely help somebody else, you know? And sometimes that's why we are the people going through it, so that we can have a testimony, so we can speak out, and so that we can be an example of how we survive certain circumstances, you know? Neil?
Yes, absolutely. Perfectly said.
Neil, do you have any last words for us?
No, I just want people to love themselves, you know, be who you are, and don't be so quick to judge, you know. Find out, talk to that individual if you do have any concerns. And it's all love for me.
All love, all love.
I would just like to say this was some great information. I thoroughly enjoyed both of the presenters. I want to say job well done. I've learned a lot in trying to determine what is alopecia, what is not alopecia, what alopecia looks like, you know, because you're right. So many times you think that people are maybe suffering with the effects of radiation from being diagnosed with cancer, but in fact, it may be alopecia. So this was some great information, and I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. Thank you.
Awesome.
Miss Yvonne,
awesome.
Did you?
Great to hear.
Hello.
Okay. Hi, Miss Yvonne.
Hi. You know, I really did enjoy the panel and everything. And yesterday I just went to the dermatologist, and this is my second time around. Well, my second round of alopecia, which is a different form this time, but it's not nearly as bad as it was 7 years ago when I was diagnosed with it. And I did my 14 shots again. And in 24 hours, I could tell the difference already, because she told me she couldn't guarantee that my hair would grow back. And my hair is already growing back.
Oh, no.
And I have 2 other medications that I have to take also. But you know, I'm just so glad to have, you know, been a part of the panel tonight, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Awesome.
I appreciate you guys joining in. And Shareece and Neil, my gosh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing your stories, being transparent, because that's what it's all about this month.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, everybody, y'all make sure y'all go to youtube.com/chatwithtrina. You've got to subscribe now. Got to subscribe, because I need 200 more people to get to my goal. And then make sure you click the little bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video. Thank you, Neil, and thank you, Shareece. I really appreciate it, and blessings to you both.
Blessings to you all as well.
Bye. Oh, we have to thank Angela. I have to say thank you for the hookup, for finding these 2 people for me. Thanks, Angela. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for making the choice to click in to chat with Trina today. And I hope every one of you got some type of information or something out of the information session that will help you to know more about alopecia. Keep in mind that approximately 6.8 million people in the U.S. and 147 million worldwide have or will develop some form of alopecia in their lifetime. Thanks, Il Trill Neil, and thank you, Miss Shareece, for joining us today. The information was just awesome, and we hope to have you back again next year. Guys, thank you for making the choice to click in with Chat with Trina again, and make sure you go to youtube.com/Chat with Trina. I need you to subscribe. It's free. And then click the little bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video. And while you're there, go ahead and share, like, comment, tell us what you think about the information session. Thanks, and have an awesome day.